If we want to know what's true and just be honest and stop lying to ourselves a little bit for a moment, then we see that there's no such thing as past or future. You can see right now for yourself. Look. What exists is this. This is existent. Past and future are just concepts. They do not exist. If they don't exist, then if past doesn't exist, then what happens to all of your poor me or great me stories? Those are just a myth, aren't they? There's no truth to any of that. I don't care how bad or how great it is. If you want to get real, you want to really get real and really be really honest, doesn't matter how bad or how great it was in the so-called past. There's no truth to it. And if you want to get really real, it doesn't matter what you think will happen in the future or what you hope to happen in the future or what you fear will happen in the future. Those are just fantasy. There's no truth to that. Truth is only this now. This is truth. I understand completely.
Yeah.
And I definitely understand completely. So, and I would like to address that because it is an important question and topic. The work that I do is very specific, and it's not for everyone. The work I do is only point to what's actually true. So, for example, if I say to you, look, is it true that there is only now? In truth, what would you say about that?
Yes.
Okay, so the work I do points to that, what's actually true. That's all. That's what I do. And I show it with inquiries through many different ways. So now, in saying that, I say to you, if that's true, then obviously past is not true. It must be a fantasy or a myth, right? But let's, if you could just, I understand about trauma, and I want to definitely address that because it's important. But I'm just going right to the very top of what I speak. So if you can just put the trauma aside just for a moment to see, then if what's true is there's only now, then clearly there's no past or future, right? Now, if you can make a leap, and for someone who says they want to be free and is ready to be free, and I still want to address the trauma thing because it's important. For someone who wants to be free and is ready to be free, one has to admit that nothing ever happened if there's no past. Now that's a hard nut to swallow, or a hard pill to swallow. I understand. So what I would like to say is that I fully respect the issues that past trauma creates for the mind. Of course, I'm not crazy. I do. And in that case, there are definitely models that are needed for many people and helpful also, therapeutic models and so-called spiritually therapeutic models, and some people who share awareness in light of therapeutic models as well. I fully accept that and I support it 100%, and it's needed, of course, absolutely. I would never be so cavalier as to say your past traumas are nonsense. No, I don't think that. But again, when someone is ready or willing to be free, then I will point to what's true. And what's true is freedom is only now. Freedom is not in the future, and freedom is not in the past. Freedom is now. And you know, we all have some, at least, you know, levels of affliction in our minds. Some are very extreme, and I have enormous feeling and compassion for that. But we all have some afflictions from the past in our minds. And obviously, in more extreme cases, therapy is definitely needed. I agree. But at some point, when someone is clear enough in their own resolve that they're ready for freedom, it doesn't mean that everything's already resolved. Not everything. For none of us. Otherwise, you'd be free. It means one is ready to hear this message, abide in the truth of it exclusively, and let the rest of it just resolve by itself without doing anything any longer, with no longer needing the therapeutic model. At some point, one is ready for that. Because truth is true, and if you just stay and abide in as truth, then nothing else is needed to be done. And then that process, I call it, I don't usually call it a process, but let's say that process that's happening by itself that you're not doing, it takes time for everyone. It does. There's no exceptions. It takes time for everyone. Some people will never be ready because the trauma is very extreme, of course, you know, and then they need to continue with the models that are helpful. So, and I'm very limited actually in what I share. I don't share the therapeutic model. I would support people in going to other people who do, if that's what's needed. I'm very limited. I share one thing, and that's see what's true. That's it. Know what's true, and truth shall set you free. That's the beginning and the end of all of that I am able to do. And for the people who are, for whatever reason, there's no judgment about it. For people who are ready and able and willing to hear that message, then it works.